Summary of poem: because I could not stop for death. Death couldn't get me to stop, so he came to get me. I got into his carriage, which was just big enough for the two of us and eternal life. We drove slowly because death wasn't in a hurry. I had left all of my work and fun behind so that I wouldn't disrespect his gentlemanly nature. We passed by a school where kids were playing in a circle during their break. Then we went by fields of crops that seemed to be looking at us, and we saw the sun going down in the sky. In fact, we didn't get ahead of the sun, it got ahead of us. As it did this, cold, shaking dew formed. I was cold, too, because all I had on was a thin nightgown and a thin scarf. The next place we stopped looked like a house, but part of it was buried in the ground. I could almost see the roof, but even that was in the ground. Since then, a lot of time has gone by. Still, it seems like only yesterday that I realized death's horses were headed towards eternity.
About the poet. In the 1800s, Emily Dickinson lived in the town of Amherst, Massachusetts. During her life, she didn't put out much work. Most of the work that was published was by men. She was also known for being a recluse who spent most of her adult life indoors. She had a big impact after she died, though, and is now thought of as one of the most important poets in the English language. People who knew her well say that she liked the works of William Wordsworth, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Charlotte Bronte, and William Shakespeare. Dickinson went to a religious school when she was young, and she continued to think a lot about faith and the meaning of life. So, church literature was also a big influence on Dickinson, and many of her poems have the same rhythm and language as hymns. Because I Could Not Stop for Death is one of Dickinson's most famous poems. It is one of many that talk about death. I heard a fly buzz when I died, I felt a funeral in my brain, as imperceptibly as grief, and Death is the Supple Suitor are also important poems on this subject. As with I Heard a Fly Buzz when I died, Dickinson doesn't offer any easy or simple comforts about death in this poem. She instead creates a mysterious setting that leaves the reader with more questions than answers. Like that poem, this one sounds like it's being said from beyond the grave, as the unsettling last stanza shows. Even though the poem seems to have some Christian ideas in it, like the idea of an afterlife that lasts forever, the journey to whatever comes after death is more like the stories of ancient Greeks and Romans. In this poem, death acts like Charon did in Greek mythology. Charon was a boatman who took the souls of people who had just died across the rivers that separate the worlds of the living and the dead. Death seems to do a similar job here, taking the speaker from the world of life to the world of death. It's just not clear what this new world is like. In fact, part of the poem's power is that it can be read in a Christian way or in a way that is not Christian.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.